Yes. It is the CastWorthy Podcast, and we are back. I am Big Steve, aka Last of a Dying Breed, on the Twitter sphere. I am joined today by the VP and EJ. Three-man crew back again. We are All Stars on All Star Weekend. What's going on, fellas? How you guys doing?
Chilling, man, hanging in there.
I'm on my He-Man woman hater shit. Started off early, baby. Let's go. Okay.
I didn't realize it was All-Star Weekend.
Where have you been?
I'm still kind of coming down off the Super Bowl, man.
Oh God, it's All-Star Weekend, man.
Yeah, you
had
they
had the ultimate draft last night. Did y'all catch that?
No,
I did not.
So
that
the
makes sense now.
The ultimate draft is when they look at the top had to sneeze, my bad. The top 75 players of all time, whatever, in the NBA, and they basically just draft their teams like a fantasy style, and computer simulates rather the results and how good they would be, and they get to supplement some of those picks with current players. But it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool watching. They did it with like the NBA TNT cast, the Thursday cast, the Tuesday cast. Then they had different people, like Jerry West was a GM, Dominique Wilkins was a GM. So it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool last night. Well, the night before rather. It was the night before.
That's cool.
I don't remember.
It makes sense. I saw a video on Twitter, and it was I guess it was from the Celebrity All-Star game, and like dude was at the free throw line, and his teammate came up, and it was like whatever his name was. It was like he must have forgot he was playing with women because she came.
Oh,
up
he smacked her titty.
Yeah, she came up to tell him something, and then he just turned around and like smacked her in the titty. I guess he thought he was like smacking a dude in the chest or whatever. And like people were going crazy on Twitter and shit. And she was like, yo, chill out. Like it was a mistake. He came and apologized later. We laughed about it, nothing to see here. So
yeah, I saw that. And it's crazy because like when you see the video live, you could tell, you know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't purposely trying to grab a tit.
Right.
He wasn't trumping.
You know how people are online, man. They just like they see something, and regardless of how innocent it is, they gotta like put all this extra sauce on it to make it more than it was. Like I saw this video that Rex Chapman tweeted out, and he's always tweeting out shit about like feel good shit kind of things, and it was it was of this little boy, and the mom took him to like a girl in his classroom to give her some flowers for Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. And the little boy is standing. He got a suit on. He looks like he's like 4, maybe 5 years old. And he knocks on the door, and the dad comes to the door, and he's like, is Amanda here? And the dad's like, oh, you here for Amanda? And he's like, yes. And so he's like, Amanda, somebody's here for you. So the little girl comes down the stairs with her mom, and they're like, oh my goodness, look at him, he's so handsome, that kind of thing like that. And then he was like, these are for you, Amanda. And then he steps into her house. He gives her the flowers, and it was like a teddy bear. And then he backed out. And the mom was like, you want to give him a hug and say thank you? And the girl was like, yes. And then so the little boy steps back in the house. They hug, and she's like, thanks, Jason. And he's like, you're welcome, Amanda. And then that's it. And then people were going, you got the people like, oh, that's so cute, da da da. But then people were like, I can't believe they're making these kids do this. And then the mom has her hugging him, and that's going to teach her when she gets older that she needs to reward gifts with sex. And I'm like, the girl's like 4 years old. I don't think that she's interpreting that.
Oh my God.
I mean, might make the world a better place.
Oh God.
Listen, all this inflation, it will probably be higher. All I gotta do is buy a gift. Shit.
Agreed. Listen, man, it's cold.
What is Valentine's Day, right?
It's cold world out here, man. I just went on the second date with this crazy woman. Right?
Oh boy.
First date went well, and
dating in 2022.
Yep. First date went
well. We need to get a woman's perspective on this stuff. Go ahead.
Yeah.
First date went well, right? And then throughout the week from the first date, I sent her this meme right? It was a joke about eating ass. Like I didn't say I eat ass or anything like that. And she got super offended.
That
I
was
was
quick.
like, this escalated really badly. So we chopped it up. We talked. So then she invited me out on a date last night, and I was like, I know this is gonna end bad, but fuck it. I went out with her, and come to find out, man, like she's really crazy. Like she came out with a wig on, right? She doesn't have this hair, and she just got offended about people talking about her wig, and I was just like, well, you don't have to wear it. Like you have other hair, and it just went left, man. And that's when I found out she drinks harder than I do, which is rare.
Says a lot.
So yeah,
I mean,
it
she
does.
might be a man.
Nah, I don't know, man. I don't know, but yeah, shout out to her. She's crazy.
You should have told her it's Black History Month. Show your roots.
I
Get that
was
shit
trying to
on.
tell her, like, yo, you ain't. I don't know. I didn't get it, but here we are.
I told you
think-
you don't have those. You need to test the old vanilla. Go ahead and dabble in some vanilla pudding. You
In
ain't
the
gotta worry
swirl,
about wigs and you don't gotta worry about wigs and shit.
in the swirl.
Or some strawberry deluxe,
Do you think that maybe she misinterpreted the meme or the joke, thinking
She
that like you
she
wanted her to
definitely
eat
did.
your ass?
Not that he wanted to eat her ass.
Well,
EJ showed up to the date with fucking chaps on.
This is the same woman. This is the same woman, right? This is the same woman that married a dude. She told me she married a dude after 3 months of knowing him, right? And now she's celibate. Celibate.
See, that might explain it. Like she's celibate. You send her
Celibate.
this meme. She thinks that you want her to eat your ass or something. And she's like, I done told this month, So
now I know she's an alcoholic. She ain't celibate. She just got drunk and
does she have
fucked a lot
kids?
of people. Nope.
Oh, okay.
Nope. She just got drunk and fucked a lot of people that she didn't want to. That's what that means. It's okay. I get it. I'll see her next week.
Like, so does right? So the celibate,
How you celibate at 38, bro?
I mean, I can't judge anybody for that. I mean, I could, but I'm not going to. But is celibate just like penetration, or like does your mouth still work when you celibate? Like when they got their period?
I don't
Like,
know.
I
don't know.
I think it's supposed to be. I think it's penetration.
okay, so yeah, so
I
you're
think-
good.
So
Okay,
you telling
so
me
let
I
me
can
back
got
up.
some head?
So you can still get your ass eaten.
Let me back up. I think technically it means penetration,
I'm
but
gonna Google it.
people probably interpret it to mean nothing.
So you telling me I could have got my ass eaten?
Right. Exactly.
I mean, technically.
What's that thing that your command said about bridges? And never mind.
All right. So, abstaining from marriage and sexual relations, typically for religious reasons. So, marriage included. All right. Person who abstains from marriage and sexual relations. So she just don't want to be married again, EJ. So she's
Well,
probably just silly, but
well,
she's okay with the bit.
She ain't gonna get married no time soon at that rate. That bitch is nuts. I had nerve to text me this morning.
All right, you'd be surprised, nigga. You got some scumbags out there that'll marry her, get her drunk, and let her drive home.
Right.
I need that insurance, bro.
Oh god.
Oh, I'm going to hell. I know where I'm going.
Yo. You're a scumbag. Jesus Christ.
So where'd you guys go? What was
We went to a comedy show to see Brad Williams, who's a
is that the midget?
yeah, he's pretty fucking funny, man.
Yeah, he is pretty funny.
He's pretty funny. He
I
was
think
good.
I think the term is little person, Steve.
He said midget, so
Yeah, I mean, like I've met one recently that works with me, and
I met one. Crossing it off your list there, huh? I can't be racist.
I can't be offensive. I know one.
Yeah, he was pretty fucking funny though, man.
He
Good
is. He
comedy.
is. He's funny. I think he's an interesting funny. He's like he's different, but he's all right. So you guys went to a comedy club.
Yep.
Um, after you sent her the ass eating meme, and
Hmm.
did you guys discuss that, or was it just like you guys popped up and acted like it never happened?
Now we discussed it thoroughly before that in some time, and then we popped up today. Well, yesterday, like nothing happened, and everything was cool. You know what I mean? But I realized that this chick really has issues. Like she was telling me
Mental health.
about, yeah, she was telling me about her battles with alcohol, and as she's drinking,
Mm-mm.
I was like, oh my bad, I didn't know. Like,
Yeah, and
you
you
know what I
can't have
mean?
two of those. Like you can't have two people that got the same issue together.
I mean, I think I'm okay. I wasn't crying, explaining this situation, and she started crying. I was just like, well, shit, like you should probably stop drinking this. You know what I mean? Like
You just like
Yeah.
another round.
she
Barkeep.
she was buying the drinks actually. So I was just like, wow, like I feel like a piece of shit. I didn't know that you're struggling with this. You know what I mean? And then shit just
Yeah.
went south, and then she just got real negative on me. So I was just
Yeah,
like, okay, you're one of those
you should
people.
you should took her like Chuck E. Cheese or some shit since you want to be childish.
Brad has a joke about that actually. But yeah, man, I mean, she's one of those people. Like, listen, man, if you're a person that drinks and you can't handle your emotions and you get angry and violent and shit, like you need to stop altogether. Like, she had me thinking that I was safe out here. I wasn't.
Was she also celibate when she was drunk?
I don't know about that. I didn't ask.
Oh,
I just left it alone. I just just told my
listen, man.
friend, like, it's gonna be a dry night, buddy. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
you can only hit the shots you shoot. Just save that for next time in the back of your mind. All right, so you had a nice dating adventure, dating in 2022. I tell you, mental health seems to be common these days. Mental health
Yeah.
issues. Um, what else is going on? So, Super Bowl was last week. I don't think we've kind of been together since last week. We got to see the Rams and the Bengals go toe to toe. And what was you guys' takeaway from that? Did you guys enjoy the game? Did you understand, like I did, that the NFL wanted the Rams to win, or like how'd that go?
No, I enjoyed the game. I thought it was a good game.
What's up, Cliff?
Yeah, what up? What up, Cliff? What up, bro? Yeah, I enjoyed the game, man. I thought it was a good game. The thing that I didn't like, and I think this is where you're going when you say about the NFL wanting the Rams to win, is that they tell us that the when we get into the playoffs and more so in the Super Bowl, that they start adding more cameras so we can see more angles. So we get really good replays and things like that. And on that call with what they call holding on Cooper Cup, not on Cooper Cup, but on the defending Cooper Cup late in the fourth,
Is
the
it Eli
replays,
Apple?
none of the replays looked like it was a hold. However, I saw a replay this week online where you clearly see the hole. And what I ended up learning was that replay was from an NFL films camera. So the NBC cameras didn't catch that, but they caught it on NFL films for the highlight package that they put out on their own social media and stuff like that. And so I wish that the people who are like kind of directing the show of what we see on TV
Mm-hmm.
had access to those angles to show us in the moment, so that way it doesn't people don't have that feeling like Steve to think like, oh, it looks like the NFL was in a tank for the Rams and they basically was keeping the flags in the pocket, and then all of a sudden it looks like the Rams are going to lose, and then flags start coming out everywhere. So but overall I thought it was a good game. I liked it. I liked the comeback, the no look pass from Stafford, all the stuff like that. Burrow, the dude looks legit, and I don't even, coming up in April, I feel like I don't even got to watch the draft for Cincinnati, because I feel like in every round they're going to take an offensive lineman, because that line is fucking trash, complete garbage. So they're gonna get that kid killed if they don't upgrade that fucking line.
Yeah, that is a lot of sacks, man. You know, to me, it's not just the what we saw versus what we didn't see. They missed the face mask, right? The offensive face mask coming out of halftime, which is, I get it, right? It happens. That happens. But the makeup calls is what it seemed like to me late in the fourth quarter. A lot of that stuff was makeup to me because you let them play for 3.5 quarters. And now on the final drive, you decide, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's break out the rule book. You know what I'm saying? And 9 out of 10 times we find that it's the other way around. Shitty calls for the first 2 to 3 quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, they kind of let the reins go a little bit. Same thing in the NBA, it happens, right? It seems like with the Super Bowl this year, it was off, and and it left a bad taste for me, man.
And on that last play, like the play where Aaron Donald, I mean, I guess it didn't go down as a sack when he hits Burrow for the incomplete pass. If you look at the replay, Aaron Donald's lined up clearly offsides, and they didn't call that. That would have been a first down for Cincinnati. And then who knows, what the fuck happened? Do we get overtime or whatever? Right. So the refs. It seems like they went in, and this may have been at the guidance of the NFL. But it seems like the reps went in wanting to not be a factor, which is why they basically were letting them play. And then in the fourth quarter, they became a factor. And it's hard to, as an athlete, it's probably hard to play a game like that when you are playing a certain way the entire game based on what you're getting from the reps, and then everything just switches,
Right. Right. You think about it what also happens to your point. There was some bad calls all playoffs, right? All throughout the NFL playoffs. We're seeing everywhere you look today, no matter where it is, you see something about sports betting, whether it's DraftKings, whether it's FanDuel, whether it's commercials on TV for fucking Caesars. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all over. So I can understand the NFL saying, you know what, we have to, let's kind of take a conservative role here, a conservative approach here to make sure it doesn't look like, something. And then they just waited until the end, and now it looks like something. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I'm like, oh, these things, they wasn't bad, right? Or, they got a call down from New York. Yo, they got my wife held up in New York, and if the Bengals win, I don't know, what's gonna happen. Like, this is the type of shit that we see in movies, and it makes you think that way when you see the stuff. What was your take on it, EJ?
Nah, I'm with you guys, and I really didn't have too much invested in watching the game because the fucking Bengals were there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the Bengals were there. No one expected that. The Bengals haven't won ever in history. They're playing in LA. They're playing a home game. You know what I mean? So I didn't really have too much invested, man. I'm ready for the season to start again. We can feel how we feel. We're still gonna watch the shit. You know what I mean? So free agency starts in March. I'm focused on that.
Other than that, I thought it was a pretty good game. What'd you guys think of the halftime show?
I mean, the halftime show, man. It is February. That shit was Black History. That
I saw a lot of mixed stuff. Some people said it was the greatest. Some people said they could have done without it. I even saw black people saying they could have done without it. Which,
when I watched it live, I thought it could have, based on what who we got, I thought it could have been better. When I watched it again, like I feel like I was able to appreciate it on the second watch more. I thought this shit was great, man. I thought it was great, and especially like after the whole thing happened with the nipple slip with Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake. We basically had years and years and years of Coldplay and Guns N'
Maroon
Roses.
5.
Yeah, like nobody wanted to see that shit. You know what I mean? And then we finally got, like Beyonce, Bruno Mars, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But I feel like even with an artist like Beyonce, Bruno Mars, even The Weeknd, that's kind of a halftime show that you're kind of, placating everybody because they kind of appeal to all fan bases. And I'm not saying that hip hop doesn't, but like having a halftime show that we had this year, I feel like it's basically the NFL saying, we know we got black fans, you know what I mean? And we're gonna give them a halftime show for the type of shit that they listen to. You know, you're in LA, you got Snoop, Dre, Kendrick, like that. The shit, it was good, man. It was I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Mhm. Yeah, it was. I could have done without Kendrick, Steve, how I feel, but
Yeah.
I felt like the game was justified in saying he should have been invited. He definitely should have been invited. It would have made sense, being that his history with Dr. Dre, and 50. But
Do you
yeah, I
think it's
mean,
because of
it's cool.
50? Him and 50 has some shit.
Yeah, and even though they squashed it, I could still see 50 being a dick.
Hey, 50 don't,
50 don't forget shit.
50 probably on that Ross shit. God forgives. I don't.
Yep, 50's a dick. He's an asshole. He's an asshole,
Yeah.
for sure.
The thing about, so a couple of things, right? I feel like you, EJ. I feel like we could have done without Kendrick. It just didn't fit into that set. Not because I don't like Kendrick, because I think he's trash, which I do. I just don't think he fits that set. Like, I don't see where he makes it there, right? I also don't see how Mary fits there, but I can live with her being there, right?
Yeah.
Based on the people that were there. I can get with that, because you're appealing to everybody. You got to have something to draw in female crowd that's watching as well, at home and so on. So but I saw, like, when it first happened, right? While I'm watching Super Bowl, some people were like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing ever." And some people were like, "Oh, that was trash," right? And like, "Oh, that was trash. I was expected so much more." But what people, I don't think, understand is, with a halftime show, you're taking whatever you have, whatever content from said people, and fitting it into a 20-minute show, right? And so people are like, "Oh, well, they could have done better song choice, and they could have had more songs." Yeah, they could have, but that's a concert. That's not a halftime show, right? And when you talk about, you're trying to fit in premiere acts, multiple premiere acts. You got Snoop, you got Dre, you got M, you got 50, and you got Mary J. and Kendrick, all that have to fit in. You're talking about, even if you divided that equally, less than 4 minutes per person, right? So
Yeah.
I thought they did pretty damn good with it. There was something out that said 50 wasn't initially part of the plan. That that rumor that you saw over Twitter about the Tupac hologram was true, and it just, they had some difficulties and it didn't work out, and it turned out to, they went with the 50 Cent thing. I guess, maybe, I don't know how they figured that out, but the one thing that I thought could have been better was the engineering. There was a lot of times where the audio was off, and I don't know if that was the engineers or if that was, the people the performers being off on lip syncing and stuff like that. So that was the one takeaway for me that I thought could be better. But otherwise, I thought they gave us really good fucking a really good show. You got to think about, you're seeing Dre coming off of, a really stressful year for him from last year with, the brain aneurysm, then you throw in, the stuff with his wife, so he had a lot going on. So it's good to see him out there. Snoop is Snoop. Snoop is a fucking showman. Like, going in, I was like, man, he's gonna be nervous. Like, I expect Snoop, if any time Snoop's gonna be nervous, it'll be here. And not even. This dude just looked like fucking master of ceremonies, as always. Snoop is rated, but I think he's underrated. A lot of people call him good and great and stuff, but I really think Snoop is underrated overall.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said, man. I was like, if I paid for tickets and I was the people who were sitting behind the halftime show, because they were facing one way pretty much the whole time, I'd be pissed. I mean, on TV, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna see it regardless of how they're facing. But if you were there, like, if you weren't sitting on that side of the field, you were just watching their backs the whole time. It's like, what the fuck, So, but
at least get somebody with a fat ass.
50 Cent gets fat shamed and shit.
Body shame, fat shame. Like, come on, man.
Wow. I saw
this dude was upside down.
He did look. He looked chunky though.
They said 50 Cent looking like a whole dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he puts on weight and loses weight all the time. You know,
Hmm.
when he's in different
Yeah.
roles and
Right, and
stuff like that. Like,
I was just gonna say that. Who's to say he didn't put on that weight for a role he's getting ready to play?
Hmm.
yeah, we remember
That's
when that motherfucker lost weight and looked like he was gonna die for a
hmm
role. Remember that shit? People
Hmm.
were like, "Yo, this dude sick." Like, yeah,
Plus, he's rich. He's rich, and he's not young anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
and he's not actively doing shows and shit. So he's a producer now. Um, of television. That's different from having to record music and go out on the road and stuff like that. This dude is living a whole different life than what we're used to. What we saw 50 being. He's got the TV shows, multiples on Stars. He still has For Life. Like this dude is doing things,
he's winning.
man.
He's winning.
He's eating,
He's
and we
winning.
see
He's
it.
winning. Yeah,
He is.
and
literally.
he just did the he just did a movie role. I don't know if it was Expendables 4. I think it was something
Hmm.
like military related, so he probably put on a little weight for
Mm.
that. You know what I mean? And yeah, I mean this guy, he's a fitness guy. He's gonna lose and gain weight at his will. You know, and he has the
Yeah,
money to
For
do
sure,
so. So
but
for sure.
even still, right? He gonna have to deal with the trolls because he trolls everybody else.
Yeah,
So you know what I'm saying? You gotta know. You gotta know that if you slip, niggas is gonna get you because you get everybody.
yeah,
So
he
that
definitely goes hard.
that's it would have been classic if fucking if Madonna came out and said some shit. I would have loved to
oof,
see that
there's a lot
when
of
they were
people
having.
that could have said some shit.
Well,
Wendy Williams could have got him.
her having her ass under the bed was she gotta relax. It's just
Yeah,
nasty.
man.
This is nasty.
Um, yeah, man. So I thought overall it was a good Super Bowl, though. Some decent scoring, good offense, good defense. I mean, even that offensive line being that bad, Vari, I thought they held up decently. I'm not gonna say they held up well,
In the
but
first half, though.
I mean, considering who was coming, pause,
Oh,
right?
right, right, right.
You had Aaron Donald, Von Miller, what's the other dude's name? The linebacker, EJ.
I can't
Leonard, not
think.
Leonard. Do they have Leonard Floyd?
Floyd, yeah,
Leonard
yeah,
Floyd.
yep.
And not only that, you got coverage in on the back end with Ramsey. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So who
I
got
really like
torched?
Let's
Jalen.
let's
I
let's talk
really
about
like
that.
Jalen Ramsey.
Ramsey got ooh,
I mean,
exposed.
you're gonna get listen in this league today, right? It's not the Dion ages where you can come up, fucking tackle Jerry Rice or Mike Irving 5 yards up and then still run the route. These days, they're giving people 10 yards already, and you can't touch these dudes. So
Mhm.
it's tough. It's tougher than ever for a cornerback to cover a guy now than it ever was. Even the Revis days, when Revis was doing press coverage, Revis only really handled guys that were outside and doing go routes. Slot
Mhm.
guys he couldn't do. Jalen Ramsey, I like Jalen Ramsey because he covers everybody and everywhere on the field. That kid is good, man. And I mean the rules today, they're tailor made for the offense to do their thing. Like you can't touch a guy.
So I agree with everything that you just said, EJ. However,
But
the the cornerback that I gave up 2 first-round picks to acquire, who was the highest paid cornerback in the league in the Super Bowl. I don't expect. I'm not saying he's going to be shut down where Jamar Chase don't catch anything. I expect better than what I saw.
how many
Against a
yards did
rookie.
Jamar Chase get?
Right,
Jamar
right.
Chase
Against a
is
rookie,
but Jamar Chase is a first rounder and he's special.
he's a
He
rookie.
it doesn't matter. He's
Yeah,
still
but
special.
Ramsey was a first rounder too,
Yeah, but
Exactly.
he's special. Here's the
and he's
thing:
special.
did Jamar Chase? How many yards did Jamar Chase have? Jamar Chase has been torching defenses for over 100 yards a game. Okay, so again, in this league today, in what you have, if he could jam the dude 10 yards downfield and hold him, I mean, we just talked about there was a holding call, a phantom holding call at one point on the other side. So I mean, the dude did his thing, man. He did the best he could do in the circumstances, and being on an island today where you can't even touch a dude 10 yards downfield, it's different, man. That's why the wide receivers of the old school to me are super special. You could get jammed up, held, grabbed 10 yards down the field. Now you can't even touch these dudes.
Jamar Chase was 8 targets, 5 catches for 89 yards, average
Held
17.8
him on 100.
per catch.
Held him on 100.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, he held him, but nonetheless he's a rookie. But I'm on both sides of the fence here. I expect a lot from Ramsey, but I also expect a lot from Jamar Chase. He's different. He's showing us that he's different. He showed us all year he's different, and he showed us up against a premier corner, if not the best corner, definitely a top 3 corner in the league. When you're thinking about it today, that he is one of the best wide receivers, a young wide receiver to do the dirt. I give Ramsey his props for what EJ said also, but I also give him his props because of, like dudes in the NBA that are not afraid to jump. You know what I'm saying? Like they talk shit about dudes getting dunked on, but these dudes are getting dunked on because they're not afraid to jump. They're not dudes that are like, oh, I see a freight train coming, let me step to the side. You know what I'm saying? So I'm okay with seeing people get dunked on because they at least jumped. Versus, same thing with Jamar with Jalen Ramsey. I'm okay with seeing him get torched because he's never gonna shy away. Like there's other premier wide receiver or cornerbacks that we see play corners that only play one side of the field.
Yeah,
right.
Richard Sherman. Sherman only played one half of the field back in the Seattle days.
Or they'll only play man, right? So you can play a zone defense, and this guy is still in man. Like I've seen that happen. So
that's a play call thing.
It is, but I give props to Ramsey, man. I give him props there. Decent Super Bowl, good Super Bowl. Good to hear that Aaron Donald, kind of said run it back at the parade. So we'll see him back next year. Great chance that means Stafford's coming back. Like you can't leave. I mean, you can leave on a win, but nobody does. Like you've been to the casino, you always like, when I'm up, I'm leaving. You never leave after a winning hand. It's after unless it's a huge winning hand, pause. But yeah. So, but it was a good Super Bowl, man.
Speaking of getting dunked on, go ahead, B. Go ahead, B.
Oh no, I was just gonna say for Super Bowl, I thought the fucking commercials were pretty whack. They were a handful. They were good, but I mean, if you think about like back in the day, like the next day, you talked about the commercials as much as the games, and now it's kind of like, like.
I think Coinbase had the best one. The
one with Larry David.
No, the one
Larry David one was funny as shit though.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
I don't remember that one. I'll have to go back and
the one where they kept showing him through time, and the guy came up with the wheel, and he was like, "Nah, this is not gonna work." And then another guy had forks, and he's like, "I got forks right here," And then it gets to the future, and the dude is telling him about like crypto or whatever, and he's like, "That's not gonna work." And I'm always right about these things.
Yeah, that shit was funny.
So from entertainment value, I think that was one of the best ones. But I think like one of the smartest, was the QR code. You're sitting there, and if you're anything technical, anyone smart, you're seeing this thing just go around your TV. And for me, right, I'm a technical guy. I'm like, oh shit, let me pull my phone out and scan it. Right? Immediately, if you get a million people, 2 million people, 3 million people, think about how many people are watching this thing, to just pull out their phone smart enough, even at some point in the commercial, and just scan it. You got that many visits to whatever your target is,
their website actually crashed from that. They did that, which was smart. And then people went to the site and then it crashed the site. So, I mean, smart, like you said, from a technical standpoint, but from a business standpoint, you got to think like we're advertising shit on Super Bowl. It's going to be like 130 million people watching. If we assume only 10% comes to the site, you're talking about 13 million hits like in a short period of time. And then you don't got the infrastructure on the back end to support that. Like, how do you look as a company?
Yeah. I thought it was a pretty good one. So we had Pro Bowl. So we had Pro Bowl 2 weeks ago, Super Bowl last week, and then All-Star Weekend. All-Star Weekend is kind of rounding it up. That's this weekend. Hopefully tonight's game is great. Kind of been watching these. I know where you were going when you said speaking again, dunked on EJ. We're going to get there. This weekend, I don't know how much you guys have watched. Clearly, VP forgot it was All-Star Weekend, so he probably hasn't seen any. Besides whatever's on Twitter. But so Friday night they had the Rising Stars, and I like what they did with it this year. If you guys did or did not see it, but Rising Stars historically has been, your rookie class and your sophomore class, and you put them together and they play a game. But they did it more like a tournament this year, where I think it was 7 teams, if I'm not mistaken, but those teams went into a tournament, and one team basically came out as the best team, right? So I thought it was pretty dope because you got to see more playing time of these people. And you had players from different teams, like you had rookies with sophomores and so on that were mixed on the team. So it was pretty dope. We got to see there was 3 young guys from the Magic because that team is super young. Wagner, Cole Anthony, which by the way, didn't even know he was Greg Anthony's son until last night.
Yeah,
And I did because I don't know. I'm a Magic fan, but they suck, so I'm not following them. And then Jalen Suggs. Suggs is the star there. So they got to play against each other. So it was pretty good. I thought they did good with that on the Rising Stars. And then let's get into. Did you watch the Rising Stars Friday, EJ?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, the NBA to
That's
me.
why I wanted to kind of fast forward to last night for you guys.
The NBA to me hasn't done a great job of marketing this thing. Kind of like you didn't see the social media presence leading up to it like you would any other year. And for the NFL, like you didn't see primetime commercials talking about it. It was just like you kind of know, and then it happened, boom, So I was like, damn, the NBA kind of missed it because I missed Friday, but I caught yesterday because somebody was talking about the HBCU game that was happening. And that was the only thing that caught my eye. So other than that, I wouldn't even have been locked in.
I definitely agree with that. I didn't know it was All-Star Weekend at all. And when I saw the video that we talked about earlier with the dude in the celebrity game, when the dude hit the chick in the titty, I assumed that was
Mario
from
will
another
take
All-Star
any
game.
opportunity to say titty he can.
I assumed that was from like a different All-Star game that somebody just maybe found the video and reposted it. I didn't know that like just happened. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think they haven't done a good job of marketing. It's kind of like EJ said, if you know, you know.
Yeah, celebrity game was whack. They had the Peloton guy on there. He won MVP. Like it was whack. It was trash. You're right though, EJ. They have to, and I would think they would have known they had to market because historically, for like the last 7 to 10 years, it's always fallen on Valentine's weekend, and because the Super Bowl got pushed back a week because of the additional week in the season, the Super Bowl was there, so it makes sense not to try and compete. You're gonna lose. You know what I'm saying? So they push it back the week, and nobody says anything. And the only reason I saw it was because sometime, and it was this week that I found out that it was this weekend. So it was at some point this week where somebody mentioned it, and that was it. So they missed the mark on it. And then last night was trash. Like the 3-point contest, I thought was decent, and it's always the same. And it was, I guess, when Karl Anthony Towns won it, Cat.
Really?
Yeah, and they built it up. I mean, you think about who he went up against, right? He went up against Kennard from the Clippers. He went up against Trae Young, who was there. He was probably the biggest name. Desmond Bane from Memphis. And there was Zach LaVine and one other person, but there was no real shooters in there, right? Oh, it was Patty Mills from Brooklyn. So, but there was no true shooters. Like there was no Steph, there was no Clay. Like these are the guys aside from Trae Young. And so leading up to it, Karl Anthony Towns said, "Hey, I want to go down. I want people to realize that I'm one of the best, if not the best, big man shooter ever." Right? Comes in, wins the 3-point contest. Great. It looks good. It fits the narrative that they were pushing all week and shit like that. So I thought the 3-point contest was decent. He put up decent numbers. I mean, he put up 29, but they've added additional 2 balls, which are 3-point. They're worth 3 points now, in addition to everything you already had. So if you hit those 2, that's a big difference from everybody else. You had the skills challenge, which they changed that up a little bit too. They did it by teams, right? And they did 3 different rounds or 4 different rounds. So there was one round that was 3 rookies. There was one round that was the Cavs, 3 guys from the Cavs, and then there was the 3 Antetokounmpo's brothers was on another team. And the first one was your traditional. First part of it was traditional, dribbling and doing weird shit, passing and stuff like that. But then, like, to win, like, it was stupid. It was who can make a half-court shot the fastest. So you line these guys up, and they're shooting half-court shots. And one team, it took 9 seconds. The other team took 2 seconds. And that was it. Like, this is your final round. Like, that part I thought they missed the mark on. And then we got the highlight of All-Star Weekend, which used to be, at least historically, the dunk contest, which this year they only had 4 contestants.
My boy Obi Toppin
won. Out of those 4 contestants, though, we probably saw 75 attempts. Like, this dunk contest, this shit is fucking terrible, dog. Like, after I see you try it 8 times, when you hit it on the 9th time, there's no shock value to it. Because I already know what you've tried to do. I've seen you miss it. I've seen different variations of it, of you too short, too long, hitting the backboard, missing the backboard. Like, by the time you make it after 9 times, I don't want to see this shit.
My boy Obi Toppin, man. But my biggest issue with the dunk contest, right? All of the greatest athletic dunkers in NBA history, Kobe, Jordan, Dominique, Dr. J, you name them, they all participated. LeBron James has not given us a fucking dunk contest in all almost 20 years of play. How?
The man's a senior citizen. He probably can't do it no more.
I don't want to hear that shit, man. How do we talk about this guy? Listen, I don't want to hear shit about LeBron being compared to Jordan ever again, because simply you did not give us a dunk contest.
Or Kobe.
That's nasty. No, just think about this. This is nasty. When you're talking about a student of the game who appreciates the game, loves the game, all this shit. Jordan did it. Kobe did it. Dominique did it. Where are you?
I mean, All-Star Weekend is, I feel like that's not something that is like a resume killer or something like that. I get what you're saying, like
blasphemy. It is a resume killer. Blasphemy.
Okay.
Not in 2022, it's not. But when he came in the league, back when he was a kid and young, and you you had real talent doing dunk contests, and the best stars were doing it. Yeah, I think it was a big thing then. Now, not so much.
So if Steph Curry never competed in 3-point contest, we'll be like, man, I don't know about this guy.
He would be saying that about himself. You can't consider yourself the best and not do the All-Star Challenge. Everybody has done it historically. Even when you look back and they were talking about selecting players from the all 75 team, etc. All of these guys that were all-time greats, they took pride in participating in the All-Star game. Period. And they participated in the dunk contest. The shoot-arounds, all of that. So,
what the fuck did I do?
I'm already getting clicky with it.
This guy.
I was trying to mute myself.
I sort of agree there, EJ. It's not the straw to break the camel's back for me. Like if it came down to 1-to-1 and they were like, yo, what's the one thing that puts Jordan over? It wouldn't be the dunk contest for me. I think there's a lot more personally in my mind. But yeah, I mean, you got to give Bron his flowers though, right? Because he's 20 years in today. He probably could have won that dunk contest last night against those dudes. Like, like that, and that's how bad the dunk contest is, and that's how much like if you want to be that guy, right, and you want to be, the guy who revived the NBA, the star that LeBron and so on, he could have revived this dunk contest anywhere within the last 6 years. 2016 was the last good one when we had Levine versus Aaron Aaron
Gordon.
Gordon. That was the last good one, right? LeBron could have revived this shit by
But
being a
Steve,
superstar and bringing other superstars back into it.
but Steve,
Let me
think
tell you how
about
you
this.
revived
Think
it.
think about this, Steve. Think about this. Historically, all of the greatest players that were dunkers participated in the dunk contest. We never live down. We never forget the Jordan moments, the Dominique moments, the Vince Carter moments. LeBron, as athletic as he is and as a dunker as he's been, he robbed us. I don't see how people are not more irate about that. I don't
It's
see it.
it's classic. I've told you guys, LeBron has a problem with failure, and most winners do, right? Most winners hate losing, but he has a problem with failure. He has a problem with public scrutiny. That's why he's always gone black in the play or started going black in the playoffs and stuff like that, right? He cannot get on that stage, the hugest stage in NBA aside from the finals, where everybody's watching, especially the dunk contest, and lose. It would do too much damage to him.
I don't necessarily disagree with that. What Steve just said, but here's how you revived the All Star game. And Adam Silver or his people, if you're listening, here you go. This one is not necessarily for free. I'll
I
take
know what
I'll
he's
take
gonna say.
I'll take some tickets to the All Star game. You get 5, 6, maybe 7 dudes who are from like those and one, the Rucker Park kind of leagues. Shit you see on YouTube. You bring them to the All Star game. You let them get passes to the whole weekend, and you put them in a dunk contest, and you give the winner like 25 grand,
A Kia.
or you give the winner like 30 grand, the runner up 15 grand, something like that. And get these NBA dudes out of it. Get these fucking 7-footers out of it. If motherfuckers over 6'7", he can't be in the dunk contest. The shit just looks stupid, And you do that for a couple years and let people enjoy that, and then bring back to NBA dudes because these NBA dudes are whack right now in the dunk contest.
Mm-hmm. Or do a partnership, like partner one of those guys with an NBA guy, similar to like what golf does, right? Golf will bring a celebrity, but you could bring like these guys, these backyard dunkers, these YouTube dunkers. I think that's a good idea. People would.
Steve hit on it. Steve hit on it. The reason why dunk contest is shit in some people's opinion is because you don't have the superstars that take it serious participating. If LeBron participated, right? Think about it like this. How many of these guys came up following LeBron and loving LeBron?
Mm-hmm.
So the attitude that LeBron had, I ain't got to do it. They don't take it seriously. But a motherfucker that competed back in the day, like a Jordan, who didn't want to lose at anything, said, I'm coming for this shit. I want that in my resume. It meant something. If it could mean something to a Michael Jordan, a Dominique Wilkins, how the fuck does it not mean something to LeBron James? And then LeBron doesn't do it. Now these kids don't really take it seriously either. They're not
So
taking it seriously.
I can give you a reason of how. I don't know if it's the reason, but I can tell you. I think what Steve said is a really valid point based on what we know about LeBron. And then I would add to that is that players today, and especially players in like the LeBrons, the KDs, guys and the Stephs, guys in that tier of players, right? These dudes are businesses. And me as the business of LeBron James, do I want to go out there to an all-star game and to Steve's point, potentially lose? What does that do for my brand when it's time for the next, shoe deal, the next commercial, the next advertisement?
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
You're LeBron James. You're the face of the league. Nothing.
I get
Michael
that.
had the
I
same
get
risk.
what you're saying, but I'm saying, what does the individual think about that? You know what I'm saying?
He pushed out on us. I'm sorry. He pushed out on us.
I would think Kia would even push for him to do it, because it's the Kia All-Star weekend. Kia sponsors the shit, and he has the endorsement with Kia. So I would think that they would try and partner and get that done. I mean, granted, yeah, he's 20 years in now. The dude is, old in
It's
basketball
37. It's
years.
old now. It's
So
old now.
it's late. But again, you got to give him his flowers because this guy could have gone out last night and won that dunk contest. Like Obi Toppin won on a bullshit dunk that you can do. Like you could probably find, a high school kid that can do the dunk because everyone else was missing, right? Because they used not only their 3 actual attempts, but they jumped 17 other times and didn't make the attempt, so it didn't count. So you got these guys taking 10, 15 times to make a dunk, and it was stupid. Like the rules,
Obi should have won
they gotta
last year.
change the rules. They gotta change the rules. They gotta find a way to get people engaged. They gotta find some type of incentive for guys to get into it because
It's ruined now. Obi should have won last year for the record, but it's ruined now. When LeBron, I'm telling you, when your biggest superstars say it's not important, no one else is going to think it's important. And I think we're really missing the point when you go back to the Dominique versus Jordan. That was a thing. You had 2 of your best players in the league taking this event so serious that they put it all out on the line. And Jordan's dunk contest, Dominique's dunk contest, that's going to iconically live embedded in our minds forever. When we look back at LeBron's career, sure, we have all the other things, and I'm going over the top in saying what I'm saying purposely, but we're never going to have that reel of All-Star 2010 LeBron, went from the foul, like Jordan going from the foul line. It's the most superhuman thing ever in history in basketball. It's one of the most superhuman things outside of Earl the GOAT, Man the GOAT, taking 20 off the backboard. These are things that people talk about, and we're never gonna have that story with Jordan. Never.
it's
I mean, with
memorable.
LeBron.
It's
It is
memorable.
memorable. I'm
Absolutely.
kind of questioning the foul line. A little bit over, but
Oh
I get
boy.
it.
Yeah.
But no, AJ,
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying, man, and I get it. Like it would help if the NBA's most marketable star participated in what used to be a marquee event. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he ain't doing it. And so for us as the fans, the NBA needs to do something to make this shit better. And I think if you got like some of them and one, type motherfuckers out there, that could help give it like a fresh look. And another note I would add to what they should do is they need to fucking like ban people from jumping over people. Like I'm so over that shit, yo. Like,
Yeah, it's
this
kind of
guy
corny.
jumped over this guy who's 7 feet tall. It's like, okay, yeah, I got up this morning and or not even this morning. I've been doing it for the past 40 years. I've been converting oxygen into carbon dioxide. Like, let's move on. You know what I mean?
They yeah, that's played out. You need creativity, right? That's that Levine and Aaron Gordon. These guys are creative. That's why, you need those young dunkers or bring G League guys in. These G League guys, they got to be jumpers down there. They got to be dunkers, right? They can't do shit else, and that's why they're down there. They can't shoot, they can't pass. Otherwise, they'd be in the league. So, bring some of those guys up. They'd be happy to get in front of an NBA audience for somebody to be
They
like,
tried doing that though at one point, didn't they?
I don't recall it. They
I
might have.
thought they did at one point. Yeah, it's again.
Well, they have
It's
them in
not.
the skills challenge. They had a couple in the skills challenge this year, and in the rookie sophomore, I think there was maybe one or two, one on each team.
The crazy thing, we praised the NBA last year for being better at the All-Star game than the NFL is with Pro Bowl, and they've gotten worse. They didn't
Well,
promote
Pro Bowl
it.
got worse too.
Yeah, the Pro Bowl
Let's not
got
even
worse.
talk about that.
Yeah.
So EJ, I don't agree with that. I think the skills portion of All-Star Weekend is kind of whack. The NFL skill portion is it's atrocious.
Oh, it's trash.
It's not
It's
even
trash.
comparable.
No,
But the All-Star
I'm just
game
saying.
itself, Pro Bowl versus
Yeah, that's
the
the
NBA
actual
All-Star
highlight.
game, I actually like watching it because I think the players they kind of they start off giving the fans what they want, and you're seeing the alleys and the 360s and all that kind of shit like that. You got centers jacking up threes. And then, you get to like late third quarter, fourth quarter, and then they start taking it serious, and then we get a real game. And yeah, they run the score up to 160 to 140, that kind of shit like that. But at the end of the day, I feel like you get fan service and you get a real game. Whereas with the Pro Bowl, that shit's just whack start to finish.
And now they don't even tackle. Like
Yeah,
now,
Yeah,
now
but
it's not. It's,
I totally understand why the NFL is more meaningless, because if you tear something in that joint, you're literally gonna have a year before you can play again. You know what I mean? Where in the NBA you have that risk, but it's less likely to happen. But
yeah,
again,
and if you think about it, in the NFL, right, you take away the whole aspect of the run game in the Pro Bowl. Like you got all-star top running backs who make the Pro Bowl, and you don't get to even see them run. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily need to see them run people over, but at least, get in the trenches a little bit, open up the hole, let us see what this person can do. Because now you're going to start to see running backs get undervalued even more in the public eye, because they're not going to, what am I seeing from this guy? It's already a passing league. What do I need? But yeah, the NBA, to VP's point tonight, I think the All-Star game will be good. It's always good, that part of it. But you can't call it the weekend, and only one part of the weekend be good.
yeah.
Now, one thing I can say, and I don't know if this was the NBA that did this. I didn't see any NBA name or branding at all on this, but there was the AI versus T Mac.
how did that go? Did you watch it?
I did. I watched the whole thing, and it was actually pretty damn good. It was
They
actually
was
really good.
they got
You
tracks.
got no. They had it was it was highlights. So it was based on highlights. They had 11 highlights. They had 10 of their basic highlights, and then one what I forget what they called it, but it was like their big highlight, right? And or memorable, I think is what they called it. Memorable moment. It was what it was called. But it was
Please,
good
please
because
tell me for AI we got the Teron Lou.
yes, that
Of
was it.
course,
That
of
was
course,
his, and you knew that. Everyone knew that was coming.
of course.
But it was dope because you forget and some of the good or the great highlights, like T Mac putting up fucking, what was it, 13
60,
points in 23 seconds
20,
or
yeah,
something like
yeah,
that. It
yeah.
was like seeing that, and these kids can understand why people are outraged by T Mac not being on the top 75 list. You know what I'm saying? And why people are saying, how could you tell me that you think Steph Curry is better than Allen Iverson? Here, look at these. We're gonna just give you 10. After you see these 10, go head back to YouTube and you can see who you would choose. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was good there. You
In
had
in
you
the
had
hand checking era at that. In
and
the
you had
hand checking era.
you got the don't get already started on errors. Then you got you get the you get the you get the you get to see the showmanship, right, from the two of them. Kind of, you get to see them talk and see how they are, and it that was good. They had Fat Joe there, of course, being Fat Joe. Shaq was there, so you got like a true versus battle, and it was, I thought it was pretty good. You guys got to watch it. It wasn't long at all because it was only 10, and then the main highlight. But I would like to see more of that. I think it was better than the one they did for the wide receivers, like in the NFL.
Mhm.
Because you're just seeing catches, like, oh, look at this great catch. No, but this shit, you seeing dudes get dunked on, banged on, AI jumping over cats. He put his nuts on. Remember when he put his nuts on Marcus Camby's neck? Like, that was one of his. Like, there was some good ones in there, dog. There was some good ones.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, I have to check it out.
I think that was the best part so far out of this weekend.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Well, All-Star game tonight.
All-Star
LeBron
game
versus,
tonight.
what is it? LeBron versus KD.
Yeah,
Yeah,
But
they're the
KD ain't even
captains.
playing though, right?
KD's not playing; he's hurt. But they're the
who
captains.
KD?
Yeah. But LeBron, I mean, Team LeBron is fucking
Who
ridiculous.
who
Again, even
said
taking
who
him
said
off.
who said that this time KD in Brooklyn would not be healthy with Kyrie and whoever they had? Me.
I've heard that somewhere before.
Me, not surprised. Not surprised at all. This dude is always hurt. It's always hurt. Now we ain't even talk about the trade. James Harden gets traded to Philly. He's been on how many teams in the last 2 years?
Yeah.
James Harden got or Philly got robbed in that trade significantly. Significantly. They gave up Ben Simmons. I mean, they undervalued him because he hasn't played. But so we'll get to that. Let's talk real quick about this finish All-Star game. You got LeBron's team and this team is freaking crazy, dog. You got Giannis, Steph Curry, DeMar DeRozan, Jokic, Jimmy Butler, Luka, Chris Paul, Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, Fred VanVleet, and Darius Garland. That's Team LeBron. And then on Team Durant, Embiid, Gobert, Draymond Green, John Morant, Jason Tatum, Andrew Wiggins, Chris Middleton, Trae Young, Devontae Murray, Karl Anthony Towns, LaMelo Ball, and Devin Booker.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, KD ain't playing.
And KD's not playing, right? So KD's not playing, but LeBron is going to play. So you add LeBron to that team, and that's what you got. The shit's chops. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm excited to watch the game, but you know, when it comes time to get serious, there's no way that Team Durant team can keep. I mean, they have size and Embiid, Gobert, right? They got size, but and Big Cat, but nah. Kevin Durant is just a horrible captain. Like, remember when we were younger and you'd pick captains? Like, he's just a horrible captain. Yeah. You just be the first pick all the time. You don't deserve to be a captain. You have no talent. You see it. So I look forward to seeing that. It's going to be good. EJ, you talked about the trade there. You had Philly gave up 2 first-round picks, Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, and I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, and Andre Drummond for James Harden and center, another center back, a bum.
Yeah, I mean, you're telling your I don't know, in Brooklyn. I don't know what's going on. I mean, and you're trading in division, no less. And then this guy, James Harden, how do you really trust what he's gonna be? You know, he proclaims that, you know, Philly was where he really wanted to be all these years, and it's just like, how do you trust this guy? You know, and I don't know, and it's just terrible. Like, I don't know. Brooklyn is, I don't think they're ever gonna win anything. I hope they don't ever win anything. Giannis is looking at these dudes like, yo, we still gonna smash you. You can't stop me. You know what I mean? They're not gonna win anything until Giannis is done, and all these dudes are getting older. And then you don't have any time to gel. Then the superstar shit is gonna come up again. Embiid is very outspoken. So who knows how that relationship is gonna work? Yeah, I don't know. It's just the NBA is just nasty. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. We spend an hour on sports. Rightfully so.
Steve, real quick before you got sports, let me just wrap up the Olympics. Today is the final day of the Olympics. You got 5 events that are going to take place, all for a medal, and then also the closing ceremony after that. As far as the medal count, I know you always ask. Right now, the U.S. is sitting in 4th with 8 gold medals. So it looks like, you know, wherever you saw that for Vegas saying that the U.S. will get 8, they're sitting at 8. They don't seem to be in any danger of getting any more gold. The leader in medals right now is Norway, followed by Germany, and then China is 2nd. But the rankings kind of depend on who you follow. I'm looking at NBC, but some people rank it based on how many gold you have, and some people rank it based on overall total medals. So if you're going based on gold, the rankings are what I just gave you. If you go on total medals, the rankings actually change some. With the U.S. being like in the top 10, but further down, instead of being fourth, I think they're like 8 or something like that. And then there was a little bit of controversy in the Olympics. I actually wanted to chop it up with you guys about that a little bit. And it's about this Russian skater, Camila Vallieva. And so basically what happened with her is that she popped on a drug test back like 2 months before the Olympics started at like an event in Russia. She's a Russian figure skater. That they didn't let the Olympic Committee know about the results. They found out last week. The issue that's coming up that's causing the most controversy is two things. One is that for the team event, the Russians won gold, the United States got silver. But if she is disqualified, it disqualifies the entire team, which means that the U.S. gets gold, and then the team who's in fourth place, who's really wondering, is Canada, because they're in fourth place. They would move up to bronze. They went to a court of arbitration, and the court of arbitration said they would allow her to skate, even though she failed the drug test, while they determine whether or not she's going to be suspended for the drug test. And the reason that they allowed her to skate is that the
her skin
Olympics, well, that's what most people were saying, which is what I thought as well, because when you look at what happened with Shakaria, she popped for weed and they said she couldn't run, but this chick pops for a performance enhancer. They let her skate. But the real reason they let her skate is that the Olympics has this rule about causing irreparable harm to an athlete. And this rule applies to athletes who are minors. This skater is 15 years old. So they said that the rule basically says that if this is something she's basically been working for her whole life, if it gets taken away from her, it could fuck up her mental health like for life. And so that's why they let her skate, while they decide whether or not what's going to happen with the medal situation. And so it's led to people saying, should they get rid of the minors out of the Olympics and say, if you're old enough to compete with adults, you're old enough to be punished like adults, or you can't compete until you're an adult. You know what I mean? And so that's what I was going to bring that to you guys and see, what were your thoughts on it?
You know what can cause irreparable damage? Losing. We have participation trophies everywhere in this world now because they're worried about how kids are going to grow up, knowing winning from losing and being losers, right? But you got kids in the Olympics, the top of whatever it is that they're doing, sport, and they can lose. So you're telling me, disqualifying this person for breaking a rule is, going to harm them, but losing won't or can't, or no, we know what it was. We know exactly what it was.
Yeah, they dug in the rule books on that one. And she shouldn't be able to compete, period. And people talking about Sha'Carri Richardson. Listen, at the end of the day, Sha'Carri, you could be mad, but you're still in the situation you're in because of what you did.
Yep.
You did that. You decided to smoke weed, and you know what it is. As an athlete, we all know what it is. You're on an Olympic level. You're getting tested. It is what it is. Is this fair that this Russian skater is being allowed? No, not at all. But this is the world that we're in. It's the world that we're in. Welcome.
Let me ask you. Damn it! I lost my train of thought on this.
Well, why you gathering it? Let me while you're thinking about what you're going to ask, the thing I also thought about it that was complete bullshit was her excuse. So the excuse, like for me, when it comes to Olympic sports, anybody who's on the Russian team, I automatically assume they're doping, because they just keep getting caught too many times during this shit. You know what I mean?
Show me you voted for Joe Biden without saying it.
Right.
But at the same time, this girl is 15, right? So that means that some adult is doing the shit. It's not like, I have to assume that she's not the one out there, popping pills or whatever. So basically, the drug that she took is like a heart medication, but that heart medication there's something in it that has performance enhancing qualities
your
that
endurance.
it increases endurance, reduces
Mhm.
fatigue, increases blood flow, things that athletes need. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And what was wild about it was two things, right? One is her excuse is that her grandfather goes to training with her, and the grandfather is on this heart medication, and she mistakenly took his pill. So they're saying it was like a accidental ingesting of the medication, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I could see how that
But
could happen.
right, for a heart medication, what I mean? It's not like you say,
Right,
"Hey, let me get an aspirin," and then you accidentally took,
right.
something else. You know what I mean? But um um the thing that's really crazy is that according to media reports, they said that the last time that an excuse of an accidental ingesting was actually used and successful in Olympics, her sample from this year is 200 times higher than that person's sample. Yeah, so the shit don't sound accidental. On top of that, in her hearing, she also revealed that there's two other heart medications she's taking. And one of the doctors from the US team says that one of the other heart medications she's taking, they said the name of it. I can't recall it, so I'm not even going to try it. But they said one of the other heart medications, the US has been trying to get the Olympic Committee to ban that drug because they say it's performance enhancing. And then they said those two drugs, and including the one that she also got busted for, in combination, are like super performance enhancing. You know what I mean? So this
Cheating like
the
shit.
whole shit just seemed foul.
It's
Right.
nasty. Putin over there got judges hostage and all of that. They're cheating, man. Just get rid of her. It's nasty.
Right.
Yeah, she got to go, man. Hey, is it the same? Forgive my ignorance here. Is it the same Olympic committee for the Winter Olympics as it is for Summer Olympics? Vari, do you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
It is. Okay. All right. Yeah. So here we go. Because I was about to try and shoot him a little bit of bail and be like, well, it's different judges. Different people making different decisions. Speaking of judges, let's move on.
Yeah.
I had her name queued up and everything.
Kim Porter.
Kim Porter. Porter or Potter?
Potter.
Oh, Potter. Kim Potter is the officer who spent 20 plus years on the force, and she shot and killed during a routine traffic stop. Dante Wright, black man in Minnesota, am I right?
Yep.
Or Wisconsin? Minnesota,
No,
right?
Minnesota. Same
Okay.
same county as Chauvin.
Okay. All right. She's done 58 days in jail since doing that. She was sentenced recently. For clarity, she was found guilty of 2 counts of manslaughter, degree 1 and degree 2, and she was sentenced this past Friday, I want to say it was, to 2 years total, 58 days time served. And really it's amounting to about 18 months is the time that she's going to do. How do you guys feel about that?
Bullshit.
Yeah, it's. I mean, a lot doesn't really need to be said on it, except for what EJ said. It's complete bullshit. And the thing that was just, it was downright fucking offensive, was this fucking judge in the case who's sitting up there crying, talking about how the officer made a mistake and all this kind of things like that. And we have sentencing guidelines, right? And these sentencing guidelines are saying, based on this crime, based on the person's criminal history and things like that, these are the things we should take into account. And this person should receive about this much time for the crime. And judges have discretion, and we've talked on this podcast, we talk offline about judges exercising discretion, right? And so the guidelines call for 6 to 7 years punishment. Now, the judge said, I think that this was a mistake. However, this mistake resulted in somebody losing their life. Whoop, whoop, whoop. The guidelines say 6 to 7 years. I'm going to go, like 4 to 5 range. I still wouldn't have liked it, but I can get it But to have that much of a downward departure from the guidelines and the judge up there sobbing for this woman, not sobbing for Dante Wright or his family, the empty chair at the table at Christmas, his kid's father not being there, etc., sobbing for the person who killed this man. That shit was just downright fucking offensive, yo.
You know what we've learned through this? That it's time, right? And through time, we're seeing they're learning to and still figuring out what the value of a black life is, what a black man's life is, right? We are now at 2 years, right? You kill a black person, you get 2 years. Kill a white person, you're talking about 7, 8, 10, 12, 15, 18 years, right? So I think that's my takeaway from this. Like, they're looking at it like, well, here's 2 years.
Nothing is new under the sun right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only difference for us is that we have access to it. Whereas in the past, you can go through the Newsday, the Miami Herald, the Orlando Sentinel, the Baltimore Sun. You can go through these articles. You can go through the archives and how many times these things have happened, whether it's by law enforcement, whether it's by the neighborhood, whether it's in Kendall, whether it's in Staten Island, whether it's in what is that, New Haven or somewhere, right, where a black person somewhere white and they don't belong, and so an angry mob beats and kills them and does something, and nothing happens. The only thing now is we have access to it, and we as a people, with the clout and the political power that we have that we don't use, we need to do more. This is kind of where we leaned on people like the Jay-Z's, the other people. We're petitioning for you to change New York state law about rap lyrics. Well, what about getting this shit passed to hold these police officers accountable? What about protecting our black people from this type of shit? You know what I mean? Like, Sandra Bland and everything that happened. I mean, we still haven't gotten justice from that. You know what I mean? So it's just, it's very scary in America to realize, for us as black people, nothing has changed. We could believe it has, but it hasn't. Sure, it's not in our faces every day like it was for our grandparents and our parents, but we're on the losing end of this systemic racism, and we haven't fixed a damn thing. We've made some strides and some changes, obviously, for the majority, but when something like this could happen, it's pretty nasty, man.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, in the same state of Minnesota, a couple years back, you have Muhammad Noor, who was that Somali cop who killed that white woman she called 911 to report an alleged rape that she witnessed or something, I don't know. And he responded to the scene and he shot her. He claimed it was accidentally. He gave him almost 5 years in prison. Same state, and he said, I made a mistake, and the same cop, who is a white woman, makes the same argument, and she gets 2 years with a judge crying. And to Steve's point, about value of life, they just continue to show us that white women tears are more powerful than black life, and that's essentially what we got here.
And it's what I told you guys, I told you guys in the chat the day that the sentencing came out, right? This black man, Dante Wright, lost his life. His kid is going to go without her father. I think it was, he had a little girl, without her father, right? His parents are going to go without their son. This white woman is going to go without a year and a half of her life, basically, right? She's a cop. She's going to be in PC. She's going to be in, she's going to have whatever it looks like. It's going to be beautiful. It's not going to be the jail that people are used to seeing or hearing about. She's going to be protected. She's going to get out. She's been on the force for 20 plus years. She's going to continue to maintain her pension. She's going to get book deals. She's going to be a hero. We saw it with, she's going to be a hero to some. We see it with Kyle Rittenhouse. This guy's at fucking Republican conventions. right?
It's nasty, man. It's nasty. And again, as a people, we're so, and I commend, you guys for having married households and being together and promoting the family unit and all that. But I look at just black people of minorities, right? And just our relationships and how divided we have become as a people, worrying about the trivial shit, the bullshit, and we have this going on. And these are the real battles we need to be fighting and focused on. For that to happen, it should just really make everyone sick. And I think we make light of the situation because we're not from there. We don't know this guy. We haven't personally touched him, but this is someone's family. You know what I mean? The same way that we're sitting here talking, this could be our nephew, our uncle, our brother. It's
Our
just
sons.
ridiculous. Our sons. You know what I mean? It's just nasty, man. And it just reminds us, if we pay attention, that this country, this world is against black people. Nothing's changed. Just because these guys are on TV making millions, people love rap music, etc. Nothing has changed, man. And what are we really doing? How are we really protecting each other? I don't know.
This has to be a mental strain on people like you, VP, and Eric, who now have teenage sons, who are going to have to go off in this world and live a day-to-day life. And you have to worry about them potentially not making it home, not because of their poor decisions, but because somebody else has an agenda or decide, or their poor decision, or they're afraid. 26 years on the force, you can't call that fear. Like, you've been there for 26 years. Rookie cops, maybe so much. 2-3 years in, maybe never had to pull a gun, maybe never had any type of um you know uh uh challenge in the field. That's different. But you're talking about 26 years on the force. You can't tell the difference between the weight of a gun, a pistol, the width of it, the girth of it, pause, and a taser, right? In addition to the side of your body on which you keep the two weapons. There's a problem here, dog. There's no mistake there. There's no accident there. She knew what she was grabbing.
Yeah. Man, and it is something that I struggle with, man. When my kid is outside the home. I mean, usually when he's outside the house, he's with us. You know what I mean? But like when he goes to school and stuff like that, you never know what's going to happen. One of these, you know, um, um, crazy ass school resource officers or something like that. Walking to the bus stop, that kind of thing. I told you guys about this, years ago. But when he was in middle school, he would go to get the bus, and it was one day he left, and I just, went outside behind him, and I, kind of peeked out just to watch him walk to the bus stop, right? And he leaves, and as he's walking down to where the bus stop is outside of our apartment complex, he goes by every car in the parking lot, and he's like looking in the windows. When he came back home that afternoon, I was like, "Hey, what were you doing this morning when you looking in the windows?" And back then, he was like really fascinated with cars that had like the push button to start. He was like, "I was trying to see if it had a button," and I was like, "Yo, you can't do that." Like all it takes somebody to see this kid, he's peeking like he's trying to break into a car. I don't know,
Mm,
and then the cops show up, and then my kid's shot. You know what I mean?
that's
And
that's so
and
sad.
so yeah, yeah, and so I worry about it all the time, man. We try to talk to him and educate him and things like that, but
I mean, but
you know,
think back to the situation with Aaron in the bowling alley and the fucking chick talking
yeah,
to her about how to raise her kid, and
mm-hmm,
like probably didn't have a kid of her own, probably was somebody's auntie or some shit. Just think about that. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like the comedian last night that I watched the show, JB something, I can't remember his name. He was talking about privilege and everything, and it's just like, bro, like we as black people, we live in a world where we really believe it is what it ain't. And the city of DC, man, they have a gun problem. Every kid out there has a fucking gun. They're killing each other, shooting each other. these dudes at 19 years old are losing their best friends to gun violence. And we have all of this shit going on, all the while people being gunned down, racism, it's just everywhere. And we don't even see the play at hand. We're losing politically, we're losing just on every front. And it's just shit like this. Whereas black parents, you have to have a conversation with your son, say, hey, don't be intrigued or fascinated about something that you're just living your life, that this could happen to you.
Yeah.
It's sad, man.
And
Trayvon Martin to now. Think about it. From Trayvon to now. Think about it.
yeah.
I remember how outraged and how bad we all felt when Trayvon was murdered. And look at how many years have gone by. We've lost a brother again and
Mhm.
again and again. And these are the ones we know about.
It's become the norm.
Yeah.
We're numb to it because
Yeah.
it's the norm.
It's nasty.
We get mad, right? We get mad. We post, right? It dies down or something happens, in politics. It kind of takes our mind away from it. Gas prices go up or something minimal. It's never anything major, right? It's not like, oh shit, another plane hit a tower or something. Like it had to be back in the day to get your mind off of stuff. Now it's the smallest stuff because we're so fickle. And then we move on with our lives, rinse, repeat. Two weeks later, 2 months later, oh man, again, justice for so and so. What the fuck's going on? These gas prices are $3.48. Shit. Fuck you, Biden. Back to life. Rinse, repeat. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Why are gas prices so high, Vari? Tell us about Russia.
Oh well. According to Biden on Friday, he gave a speech and he said that based on our latest intelligence, that they believe that the Russians are going to invade Ukraine. The Russians have been saying, "Oh no, we're pulling some of our forces out." Our intelligence have said that that's bullshit. That their forces have actually gone from just being on the borders of Ukraine to going into like attack position. So they think that an invasion is imminent. And most people think what they're waiting for is that there's this, I don't know if it's like a treaty or just kind of like this unspoken rule, kind of like with the wire, like, oh, we don't do business on church Sunday, but when the Olympics is happening, countries agree to like ceasefire during hostilities and shit like that, in order to like promote peace and things like that during the Olympics. And so most people think that Putin is waiting for the Olympics to end tonight to go into Ukraine. But some of the things that you would think would happen before an invasion are already happening. Like Ukraine's governments have been having massive cyber attacks. They've done cyber attacks on their banks and things like that. Over in the Donbass region of Ukraine, which is in the eastern part of Ukraine. You've had Russian separatist forces that have been claiming that the Ukrainian military is over there killing ethnic Russians, and there's like a genocide happening of ethnic Russians, which is what the Russians want to use as a pretext for saying we got to go in there because they're doing a genocide, and that kind of thing like that. So it appears that an attack is gonna happen in Ukraine, and that will have an impact on things like gas prices, because it'll make the price of oil go up, which will then make gas prices go up. On top of that, Biden has said that if Ukraine goes into Ukraine, or if Russia goes into Ukraine, excuse me, that they're putting together economic sanctions package, something that Russia hasn't seen before. They've marshaled our allies around the world and in Europe to put similar sanctions on the Russians to squeeze them economically. And that's going to have an impact on things globally. So we could see potential further inflation at this point.
Yep. I has there been any up? Go ahead.
Let me tell you something. I went 2 days ago, right, to the gas station. It's about 20 degrees outside in the morning. I put $20 in. Shit didn't even hit half a tank. Okay. Fuck you, Joe. We didn't do it, Joe. This is not it. Bring the gas prices down, goddammit.
I will say again, though, the president has no impact on gas prices. So
fuck that.
Because if they did, the gas prices wouldn't be where they are. They would just make them lower if they could. So
Allegedly.
I mean, it's always an argument that like whoever's running against Joe or whoever's president will talk about gas prices. The person who's running, if gas prices are low, they're gonna say, "Oh, look at gas prices, they're low. Look what I did," And if they're high, the person running against it can say, "Look at gas prices, this motherfucker's fucking up," But the president has no impact on the price of gas. Um, but one thing Biden does impact, where he kind of got your boy pissed off a little bit on Friday, was sometimes when the president speaks, it can have impacts on the stock market. And based on this Ukraine news, the market has been, pretty in the shitter, the past couple weeks with this stuff, and a couple of plays I've been looking at were they were in range. And then Joe made his speech, but he strategically made it at 4:00 after the market closed, which would have, if he had made it earlier, probably would have drove the market down a little bit further, and then my orders would have filled and processed, and then I could take this ride back up once the stock recovers. And so he took some money out of my pocket, man. So I didn't like that. I did not appreciate that at all.
Yeah, forget the masses. Worry about Vari's pocket.
Hey, people been doing it forever. Why not? Why not us?
Has there ever been anything? Has there been any update on the news at all? I know you're a news junkie, political news, about Americans getting out of Ukraine. I know that. No. I know it was suggested, but have we seen any updates?
The State Department continues to tell Americans who are in Ukraine that they need to leave. If they need help leaving, they can contact the State Department. They'll get them on the flight. A couple of airlines have said this week they're going to stop flying into Ukraine because even the airlines are thinking the government's saying some shit's going to happen. We can't have our planes flying over Ukraine. We don't want them to fuck around and get shot down or something like that, Yeah. And so the problem is that when you travel abroad as an American, you have two options. One, when you get there, you can. Let me back up a second. The State Department doesn't know how many Americans are in Ukraine. And the reason is two reasons. When you travel abroad as an American, when you get there, you can check in with the U.S. Embassy and let them know, hey, I'm in this country. And they know, okay, EJ is here, Steve is here, whatever. You see what I'm saying? But most people don't do that. So of the people who checked in, they know, okay, these people are here. According to like passport stamps and things like that, we don't see that they've left. So we could assume this many people are here based on the folks that checked in with us, but you don't know how many people who showed up who didn't do that check-in thing because it's not something that's required.
How is this going to impact campsites?
Who? Oh. Oh shit! Oh man, that was funny.
What you guys been watching?
Asking for a friend.
Yeah, just I saw it on the internet.
Besides X videos, X videos is better than Pornhub, by the way. But anyway, I don't know. You guys, it's a dude, man, named Crip Mac. I don't know if you guys follow this dude on YouTube, but he's pretty fucking entertaining, man. Like,
oh, I've seen a video about him.
He's mad entertaining. I just be watching videos of him, and I've been watching a lot of YouTube of paternity court, man. Just watching all of the times that the kid ain't the dudes, and just the nastiness that goes on. It's just part of my He-Man, woman hater culture. But Raising Dion was a good series. They came out with a season 2 of that. And that's been okay. I haven't really got into it. I watched Force Tommy, your boy Tommy, first episode. Shit is just I have to come to realization at this point. The shit is just not gonna be realistic anymore.
Unrealistic, yeah.
It's just not real anymore. It's like,
did you watch? You didn't watch episode 2 then?
I watched. No, I don't think I did because that came out today.
No, this was last week, but it was also unrealistic. Episode 3 is tonight. Is or was last night or tonight, whatever. However you get your content.
Yeah. I don't recall I don't recall what episode it was, but it's just it's just unrealistic now, man. It's just nasty. So
Okay.
yeah, but that's all I've been watching so far. I did watch what movie was that? Shit. Oh man, I can't remember the movie now. Just came out. Fuck. Oh, the Kingsman. Kingsman, the origin
Oh, the
story of the
prequel joint.
Kingsman. Yeah, that was pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
I want to check that out. I haven't done it yet. For me, I haven't really been watching much. Just my normal shows like Billions and Righteous Gemstones. I told you, man, I love the Olympics, so I've been heavy in the paint on the Olympics. So, like, once I get off work, I just start watching Olympics, and then once 8 o'clock hits, I watch the primetime Olympic coverage and shit like that. So, mostly Olympics, and then Billions and Righteous Gemstones for me.
Nerd. So I've been on Force. I watched Force. I'm just gonna say, oh yeah, I watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm sorry, just
Forgot about
Bel-Air,
that. Bel-Air. I
not
forgot
Fresh
about that.
Prince.
Yeah, I watched it too.
Bel-Air. I don't like the colorism. I
What do
don't
you
like
mean?
that I don't like they asked me to go premium to watch episode 2 and 3, as if I can't find another way.
What do you mean the colorism for Bel-Air?
So
Here we go.
Hillary's
Here we go.
They made
So
Uncle Phil
Hillary-
white.
Here we
no,
go.
they made Hillary dark. They made
Mm.
Uncle Phil dark. They made there was someone else. Hillary, Uncle Phil, Carlton is like super dark.
This guy.
I don't like anyway. None of that matters. That's neither here
Will's
nor
still
there.
light skinned.
Will is still light skinned, but
This
I
guy.
don't know, man. I don't like Carlton. I don't like his and this is off of colorism. I don't like his character. I don't like Hillary's character. I can get with her. I'm starting to see she's starting to be okay with me, but I didn't like her in the first episode. And Uncle Phil, they made him skinny, like and like fit and stuff. And I get, so I had a conversation with somebody this past weekend, and they made a point where that character is so iconic, it's going to be super hard to recreate it at that level. So throw a spin on it. So I can get with that. I'm all right with that.
But aren't they going from I haven't watched it yet, but from my understanding, they took it from being a comedy series to being like a drama series.
Yeah,
it's a little more drama, but that
it's way
doesn't change.
drama now. It's
Yeah,
good. It's really
it
good.
doesn't change that it's modeled off of something though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it, man. I get it. And here's the thing: if you want to be
He's being
different,
the old man, get off my lawn right now.
nah, just like if you want to be different, but don't be different and then use quotes like, you know what I mean? Oh, I got in one little fight and my mom got scared. Oh yeah, I got it, buddy. I got it. I know where you got that from. Like, be different or don't, don't point back. Don't try to live off of it. And if I hear the word John one more time, I'm done watching it. I'm done. I hate it. So I've been watching that. I've been watching those. You know what I watched that I meant to tell you last week? I watched Just Mercy, the Michael B. Jordan and Jamie Foxx movie, which I hadn't watched before. When it came out, I meant to watch it, and I finally got around to it. And man, I really liked that movie. I liked it. I thought it could have been better, but I thought it was better than I expected it to be, considering, Michael B. Jordan. I almost see Michael B. Jordan in a lane. Like, he's almost laned up for me. Like, he's got to be like, just like the
typecast.
buff. Yeah, almost like John Cena. Like, those guys have a lane. Like, I don't want to see you in anything. Like,
he's comparing John Cena to Michael B. Jordan. This is where we are. This is where we are, Vari, and this is why you can't listen to his take on Bel-Air. It's a phenomenal show. I love the spin. I love the dramatic and essence in it. I love Hillary. Shout out to her. She looks tasty. Yeah,
all the wrong reasons. All the wrong reasons. What else? Um, yeah, I didn't get to watch Euphoria. I didn't get to start that, but it's still on the list. I want to watch. I'm gonna get to it.
Yeah, same with me.
But yeah, man. All-Star game tonight. There's another show that started on HBO that I heard was good too, Vari. And you might have either started or I know it looks like something that Aaron would be into. 'Cause she's smart in your household. It's with the it's like based in the 1800s. With
Oh yeah, I've seen the preview for that. I think it's called The Gilded Age.
yes, I want to watch that. I figured that you guys would be on that.
Yeah, we both been Olympics, man. We love it.
Nerds. Anything else happened this week?
Nah, I mean Flores got hired by the Steelers. You know,
They did.
so
The NFL reached out to Steelers and they were like, "Hey, we need you to do us a quick solid."
I think it could be that, but I think what I think it is, and what I hope it is that you got Tomlin. We know coaches hire their own staff. I mean, obviously, ownership, GM got to sign off, But I'm hoping that it's Tomlin's, black coach to black coach is saying, this guy's too good of a coach to never coach again. And so let me not let him be like Cap, and he's out of the NFL, forever. Let me put him on the team, make him a defensive assistant, linebacker, so that way he stays active, and then people can't just exclude him forever based on he hasn't been in the league in forever, so we're gonna move on.
They're still never gonna give him a head coaching job.
I mean, probably not, but I'm thinking that
unless it is the Steelers,
that was the reason.
Unless it is the Steelers,
multi-billion-dollar organization. You don't think they came up with the same idea that you're talking about? Oh, for optics, this will look good. They're gonna think black on black love. Let's go ahead and get with the Steelers and see what we can get done here. That's the NFL, man. NFL got their hands all over that. It's sad to say, right? It's sad to say because it's not going to stop us. It's not going to deter us from watching. We love the football. We love the NFL, I just don't know that it's genuine, man. It looks great. You got Mike Tomlin, who's been there forever. He's a black head coach, in a city that's, not black, right? You got you got Pittsburgh, highly right wing and etc. So this is a good look. This is a good look.
Not Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh votes blue, but it's very racist. I've been there and it's very racist. And it's beautiful city. I mean beautiful city to me. I love it. I want to go back. It's only 4 hours away from me. But
why do you love it? You've told us on a couple occasions.
I have. I'll tell you, it was March or April when I was out there, and it was snowing.
Is it the tapioca pudding?
The women still came out with skirts on, and I'm gonna tell you, man, there's some good looking Caucasian women out there. They're pretty nice, man. They were built pretty nice, and I haven't dipped into that pool just yet, or at all, but I was definitely tempted there. I'll tell you that. Much. So shout out to Pittsburgh. It's beautiful.
Listen,
city.
I'm gonna have a conversation with your mom. I'm gonna have a conversation. She is stopping your development. I know why. I know why you won't dip into the tapioca. I know why. I'm gonna get her to give you the green light. You guys switch it up a little bit.
I don't think that'll ever happen, champ. I don't think it'll ever happen. I can see the response now, like, okay, yeah. And this shit was like, well, where did you find that one? That one, yeah, won't happen. But wish me luck, fellas. Today, it's Sunday. I'm off tomorrow. My homeboy Devin's funeral's tomorrow.
Rest in peace to him, man. I didn't know him. We talked last week. You missed that episode. We talked about it. One of my childhood friends passed away.
I heard.
But I didn't know him personally, but it seemed like, he was always on the right side of arguments and conversations. When he
Agreeing
and
with you.
when he and I were in the comments on Facebook and stuff, we
Who's
built
tapping something?
huh?
Somebody tapping something.
Oh, that was me. We built we built a pretty good
Facebook relationship.
yeah, those Facebook relationships where they say you got those followers and those friends that you probably closer to than your actual real friends.
It's
He
funny
was one of
because
those.
he when I talked to him and we talked about Facebook stuff, he'd be like, he would bring you up. He'd be like, he would literally talk about you as if he knew you, which is wild to me. Like it's crazy now that you put that in perspective. It's just wild, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But yeah, man, 46 years old, passed away.
Young
So
dude,
shout out to
man.
him.
Far too
And
young.
yeah. But with that said, man, I'm off tomorrow.
Don't
Let
drink
that
too
mean.
much, man. And
Hmm?
pick up the phone and call if you need to.
Oh, I Uber every
I
day,
know that
brother.
shit.
I'm
That shit
good.
ain't hard. That shit is not easy to deal with, man. That shit got me out here booking vacations left and right. Seeing one
Yeah.
of my friends, 41 years old, he passed away. Young guy, went to sleep and didn't wake up. I'm sure, like I said last week, he had plans. He had plans for 2 days later, which was his birthday. He had plans for maybe next week or next month. COVID is down a little bit. Maybe let's go on vacation. No. I ain't got time for that shit no more, dog. This shit done changed me.
I'm
It's
telling
time
you,
to
that's
live, man.
why we just gotta live, man. And as black people in this world, everything that we got going on, it's just we gotta live, man. It's not promised, man. It's not
Yeah.
promised. I pray for all you guys every day, but that's why I'm gonna get drunk, man.
And go to the doctor.
Yes,
Go to the
that too.
doctor, man.
That
People
too.
got we got to do better with that, man. We got to get to the doctor. I got friends that be like, yo, I ain't been to the doctor since I was 18.
Yeah.
All right, dog. Well, you might want to go ahead and do that. I go every I don't want to get into it, but yeah.
I went after that wild night with that chick I met first night.
Not for just that, AJ.
Oh shit. I can't.
You got to go to the doctor more than just when you're dripping.
Yo, that's the other thing, man. It's funny when you single and shit and you actually, just chilling. It's like all of these people think I'm like got all these women. I'm like, where they at? I ain't had no action in here, bro. It's been dry. No Nut November has turned into No Nut February in March. It's pretty rough, man.
Celibacy.
Yeah. I'm being celibate.
All right, man. If we got nothing else, just about actually we're under time a little bit. So let's hand it off to the VP and we can keep it moving.
Hey, we definitely appreciate everybody who rock with us this Sunday morning / afternoon and tapped in live to the broadcast of the podcast. Definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your Sunday. For those who will watch once the episode posts, we definitely appreciate you taking that time as well. Wherever you check out the podcast, if you can just do us a favor and leave us a like, subscribe, comment, follow, share, all that good stuff. Tell a friend, help us grow that audience. We definitely would appreciate that. As EJ and Steve close, check on your people, make that phone call, take that trip, whatever it is, because tomorrow ain't promised. So, definitely, make memories. And I promise you, nobody at the end thinks or thought, damn, I wish I had just worked some more. They would think about, I wish I had taken that trip. I wish I spent some time with my family or, did those kind of things. So definitely do that in your life. And, thoughts for EJ's homie who passed away, to his friends and family as well, and to Steve's friend on that note as well. You can find the podcast on all podcasting platforms and just search CastWorthy. You can find the social media on all social media platforms. Search at CastWorthy. On Instagram, it's at CastWorthy_podcast. And finally, if you guys could, thoughts and prayers for EJ's liver. It's going to need it. And we hope that he'll be here next week, Sunday. And till then, we will see you guys on the next one. We thank you for rocking with us. We out. We love you. Peace.